So, growing up, I was labeled as the defiant child. I was labeled as disruptive. I was labeled as nosy. I mean, I had all these labels thrown onto me. And crazy enough, I think I was just curious. Well, actually, I know I was just curious. And I want to say this to any parent that actually watches my page. You are your child's safe space before they head out into the world. So when you don't make a safe environment for them to come forward and just ask questions out of curiosity, um, you're making it so that when they go out into the world, they're even more curious. They kind of like fall into the peer pressures. They don't feel that coming home there is room for them to just be themselves and ask questions. Kids that are curious are not defiant kids. Kids that are curious are not bad kids. Kids that are curious should not be told a child stays in a child place. Sometimes some people have questions that want to be answered. And again, I think it is so important to know that you as a parent, you as a friend, you as a partner, you as a spouse, create a space in which someone can come and talk to you and be open and honest without there being judgment. Because we know when we go out into the world, we are going to be judged no matter what. So I'm saying this to say, had I probably would have had the room to just be myself, I probably would have gone out into the world and continued being myself because it started at home. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Free is me. If you're new to the channel, hey. If you're a friend to the channel already, hey friend. As you know, on this platform I discuss self-love, healing, how to get to your true and authentic self, and defining what does that mean exactly for you. Like I said, I am a one-stop shop for a lot of things. Listen, be sure to send my page off to anyone that you know might need it and might be on this journey of self-love, okay? Because I definitely cover a slew of topics that are befitting to any and everybody, depending on where you are and what stage you are in your life and on this journey, okay? But anywho, let's get into today's topic. Growing up, I was labeled as the defiant child. I was labeled as the disrespectful child, and it's crazy because those labels were put on me when I was just curious. I just want to say this to any parents that's watching, listening, and stuff like that. Sometimes your child is not trying to be intrusive and not trying to be disrespectful by asking you questions. Again, it's just their brain being curious. So when you silence a child's voice and tell them, child stay in a child place, I think you're just not allowing the room for them to just be curious. Because when they do kind of go out into the world, they learn to kind of mute their voices because it was always shunned upon to just be vocal, to just ask questions. And I want to say this, a lot of things always connect back to the childhood. But I am no longer that person that mutes my voice when I am curious, because I will tell you this. I used to feel like speaking up would cause me to get in trouble. Now, does speaking up cause you to kind of get into hot water at times? Absolutely. But I feel it is my duty to just ask questions. So I can honestly say that I use and I exercise my voice to speak up on and against things that I cannot just agree with any and everything. You have to tell me why, this needs to happen for this to happen. And I will tell you this, when you mute your voice out of fear of being reprimanded, you are not fully coming to the table as your true and authentic self. That also leaves grounds for people to walk all over you, and you do not want to be a doormat to any person, any establishment. I also noticed that in me not speaking up, I was passed over for opportunities that I felt were befitting to me. But again, you know, that people pleaser, that silencing myself, you know, again, like it just doesn't always work in my favor. So I want to say, when it comes to speaking up, you have to be able to practice strengthening your voice, because your voice matters definitely in a lot of situations. I think had I spoken up a lot of times in relationships, I would have not allowed people to control me, people to tell me that my position should just be this and this only. I actually remember being in a relationship with this guy that, ooh, the misogyny and and outdated views. I remember this guy actually saying to me, I miss the days when women did not have a voice and did not talk. That's when, you know what? I realized the importance of our voice, my voice. I think when some people feel like they can silence you, they can take full control over everything it is that you do and say, and they tell you how to move and whatnot, whatnot. I'm here to tell you this. The days of that happening, the days of not speaking up are over. Now, I pick and choose my battles on what I want to speak up on and against, because everything is not deserving of my energy. Everything is not deserving of my peace and my time and things like that. But anything that I feel like comes at a disruption of my energy, and it comes at a disruption of my peace, and comes at a disruption of what I want the direction of my life to go into, I have to speak on that. Now, I also understand that sometimes when you don't speak up, people may like that because they deem the person that does not talk back or vocalize themselves, they perceive that to be the position of a good woman or good girl. Let me tell you something, okay? Um, that is so wild to me. And the people that became pioneers and trailblazers are the people that spoke up and spoke out about things being unjust and unfair. I now exercise my voice a lot to just speak up, speak out, and be stand firm in what my beliefs is. Now, if my opinion differs from someone else, I can respectfully disagree and move on to the next topic, because I don't want to impose heavily my views on anyone, this and vice versa. But what I'm saying is, on the speaking up part, is just making sure that you are not shutting down your voice. Because I will say this, when you do that, when you don't speak up for yourself, you are allowing people to mistreat you. You are allowing people to take advantage of you. You are going to cause a turmoil within yourself. I have felt that in most times in past relationships that I wanted to keep the peace so that way there was no argument. But what that ended up turning to be was I was building some inner turmoil and some resentment, and so my behavior was changing. And my behavior was changing only because I just was not speaking up for myself. Granted, the situation or what someone said bothered me, but I was more so afraid of or thinking about how they would react versus how I know I need to respond to the situation. I want to say, in stifling your voice and silencing your voice, you are going to build up that resentment against people. And what's going to happen is, down the line, someone is going to approach you, or something is going to happen that is going to trigger up that child or that person that did not stand up for themselves, and you are going to rage out and explode, especially in a situation that is unwarranted for that. So, this is why I say speak up on situations and things that you know hurt you or trigger a feeling within you. Take it up with the person that is the problem, or do not allow things to fester. Now, because when you let things out that don't need to be let out, um one thing about words, you cannot take them back once they've been put out there. Shutting your voice is actually another form of people pleasing, and that is very unhealthy. It's you basically saying, I would rather quiet myself. I would rather go along with the system. I would rather listen to what people say as opposed to giving my input on what is right in a situation. That is one sure way of you wanting to be liked versus respected. It is okay to be different. It is okay to call things out that are wrong. I will say this, and I will scream this to the mountaintops. Being respected takes precedence over being liked. I do not want to be acknowledged for, oh, but she is such a fun person. I want to be acknowledged for, you know what? She is an honest person. At least I know her take or her views, may be different than mine. So one thing about her is she stands in her truth and no one can move her. I am not someone that wants to be swayed by the opinions of others. Because again, what voice is mine and what voice, is just outside noise. This is why we have to unlearn a lot of things and reparent ourselves throughout life, because a lot of things that we were told, the good girl, respecting your elders. Not to say you do not respect your elders, but what about those elders that are also simply disrespectful? Do you not call them out? Do you not tell them, hey, you are wrong? Do you not tell them, hey, I have a voice too? It is not disrespectful. It is not you being grown because you are telling someone, hey, your behavior is unacceptable. All right, so I am here to actually give a few tips and why it is important to speak up. First thing first, speak up to be heard. Do not make your voice the white noise. You should be able to come forward and be present and be seen and be respected. You shouldn't mute your voice to gain access into a community or to gain a position in someone's life. You should just always show up and speak out because you want to be your true and authentic self. Now, I always say this, practice when to speak up, because not every situation warrants you to just, go aggressive and be all that. Because again, this is still your time and your energy that you're wasting or using on certain topics. But just understanding though, if something bothers you, that is when you speak up. That is when you exercise using your voice, okay? If it's going to bring any harm to you, if it goes against your beliefs, your values, this is when you definitely want to speak up, okay? If it comes to a point where you feel you're being controlled or manipulated, please speak up, okay? The other part of it is that you are your own advocate. Being someone that works in the medical field, I know that if you have no family, if that ever becomes the case, you become, in a lot of times, property of the state. So that means state typically has the decision over what happens with you, what you do. They make the arrangements for you. I cannot stress this enough. You have to be able to speak up and be your own advocate, because you may not agree with the direction of things, of the way things are going, that just simply do not align with what you have set for yourself. I always say, I'm going to counsel me, I'm going to counsel God, and I'm going to get counseling from a wise person, absolutely. But to let someone fully steer me, that, is no. No, 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 no. You can just advocate for yourself and say, you know what, I just do not agree with that. And it does not align with me. And then just go ahead and move. The third thing is, you can agree to disagree with people, okay? Agreeing to disagree just means, okay, we are neither right or wrong in a situation. Your opinion is valid to you. My opinion is valid to me. But I just want to make it clear that we may not be on the same page in terms of our beliefs. But I just want you to know exactly where I come from. Okay. The fourth part of that, being able to speak up, it really does help with conflict resolution. There are some people that immediately get defensive. There are some people that immediately want to rage out. There are people that immediately just kind of like shut their ears to any form of constructive criticism. I always believe that the only way to communicate is to communicate even in the most uncomfortable conversations. It is needed. So again, you speaking up is just you vocalizing what simply bothers you. Whether it come at a discomfort of the other person, hey, it is what it is. It's part of it, but I just have to let you know my feelings, my opinions also matter. Same thing for you. Your feelings and your opinions matter. And when you've worked really well at conflict resolution, it does sometimes strengthen your relationships. And it just helps you to see people's point of view, as well as when you truly see that some people just don't align at all in a lot of ways with you. It makes it also very clear on how you navigate a relationship with that person moving forward. Okay. Last but not least, please make sure you are using your voice and being your authentic self and eliminating that people-pleasing mindset. You do not have to win your way into the heart of someone by being someone that you are not. You do not have to silence your voice to gain access into a community or into a position. Make sure in all aspects you are showing up as yourself. I think when you don't show up as yourself, you are also kind of like being double-minded about situations, because you're going along with everything when you disagree with some of the things and how they're being taught or how things are being run. And the thing is, you want to always start off as yourself, because like down the line, you don't want to change, because some people are going to only remember you as how they saw you in the beginning. And then if they see you change toward the end, they're like, well, was it really you? Is that really you? And again, you may in the beginning have done it to, again, gain access. And you may have done it to just, appease people and just kind of go with the flow. But I'm telling you this, it is a shoot in the foot situation when you just say yes all the time and you silence yourself to be liked. Do not silence yourself to be liked. Be yourself to get respect. That's the most important thing. No one wants a double-minded, waywarded, easily swayed person. The person that stands firm on their beliefs is not someone who will constantly change throughout the course of a relationship. That person will be firm in who they are from day one. There will be no questionable behaviors. There will be no questionable like, but you said this on Monday and now on Tuesday you saying this. Trust your own voice. Speak up. You are your own advocate. You truly it is encouraged to be yourself so that way people know exactly how to treat you. Yeah, I want that for all of us, for the best of us, especially the people that, again, have silenced their voice over a long period of time. This is not the time for you to silence your voice. This is the time for you to exercise your right and just expressing who you are. Do not fear being shunned, being kicked out, being, degraded, or being. Do not fear those things, okay? As I always say, what is for you will be for you. So anytime you have to force yourself to be something that you're not, to gain access into a place that's not meant for you, it is going to disrupt you mentally and emotionally. And next thing you know, it's probably not going to end up being the thing that you want. So be your best self, be your authentic self. Speak up against things that bother you so that way you do not grow that resentment in your heart towards anyone or in yourself. Yeah, if you are currently in that stage of, or or identify yourself to be someone that has been quiet for so long and over the years, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. How are you going to navigate from people pleasing to being your authentic self? Maybe you can actually drop in comments on a situation that's happened to you, and what did you realize, or what was your power after acknowledging that, hey, your voice matters. All right, until next time, love on yourself daily, okay? Exercise your voice all the time.